So I just wanted to make a quick video because I woke up today, and a little bit after waking up and stuff, I checked my Facebook, I checked my comments to see what somebody said to me, and it seems like it was a woman. And also, before I get too far into this, my teachings are for women. I'm only here to teach women. And anyways, so as I'm reading the reply, and this is in regards to because I was letting this woman know that we're not to do Christmas. I left her scriptures, things like that. I think I've only said 2 replies to her so far. And I don't know if this will be the place where I dust my feet or not, because it's just one of the most ridiculous arguments I've ever seen to defend Christmas, which we shouldn't be defending it anyways, because it's not of the Father, it's not even the Word. But anyways, so she says to me, she starts off, and sorry if I don't quote it word for word, but basically, essentially, is like, ask yourself if it's God's voice telling you to clip your toenails, because the heathens do that, and basically trying to say, we can't say not to do something just because everyone else does it. And it's like, the problem is people aren't rightly dividing the word to see what is sin is what is not. There's no commandment that says, hey, don't clip your toenails or your fingernails, right? Or don't get a little hair trim, right? There's no commandment against that. Why? Because it's not sinful to do those things. It becomes sinful if it's like you're doing it in vanity, or like, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know how someone could clip their toenails in vanity, but if somebody were to somehow do that, you know what I mean? That's the issue. The heart posture would make those things wrong. But overall, in itself, there's no commandment against these things. Verses in Deuteronomy 12, where the Father says, don't worship him the way how the heathens worship their gods. Now you need to know, how did the heathens worship their gods? And also you have to look at all the other scriptures regarding the holidays, because, for example, like what Israel did, how they worship Baal, how they forgot God for Baal, how they put up the Asherah pole, how they did all these things, right? When you put it all together, conclusion shows in modern day times, because what's happened before will happen again. There's nothing new under the sun, right? So when you look it up, it shows, it all points back to where we're at today. It's just now we do it in a modern way. Yeah, we don't physically sacrifice our children and pass them through the fire physically. No, but spiritually, when you're doing these days, that's what you're doing. You're sacrificing them, passing them through the fire to Moloch, because that's what the scriptures show. And it's like, how do we know this? Again, because of the word, because of history, because of what Israel did. All these traditions come from ancient times and have spread to the 4 corners of the earth, right? So anyways, the point of this video isn't in regards to the holidays. The point is how you can tell when somebody has a humble, contrite heart and when somebody doesn't, and this woman doesn't. And you don't, and basically I'm trying to say, you don't want to be like this woman, where somebody comes along and is trying to share the truth with you, correcting you, having a genuine love for you, is like, hey, I used to do this, but since following God, you know what I mean? And I didn't say it like that, but either way, regardless of how you say it, if somebody's doing wrong, you let them know, because if you love them, you're not going to want them to suffer the consequences for their sins, right? You're going to rebuke them so that way they don't have to, if they repent, if they receive the truth. But it's like, you don't want to be like that person who's drunk on pride, makes those stupid arguments, and is like, well, I do it for this reason, or this is why I do it, or this is what it means to me, or, well, everybody's doing it, so blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, the whole point is, do you have a humble, contrite heart? Which means, do you have, like, and well, I don't say it just means this, but essentially, and this is just how, from what I've seen in the scriptures, is having that humility to learn his truth, to want to learn his truth, to want to know what his truth is, despite how they might feel about it. Because you know what? The truth does hurt. It is expression that people use in today's time about the truth hurts, but it's true. There's certain things in there when you read, it's like, oh, like, that's wrong, I can't do that anymore, sort of, you know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, like, but that's the thing, are you going to overcome that wrestling? Are you going, like, you know how Jacob wrestled with God? So today, in today's time, people are wrestling with God spiritually with his word. It's like, okay, I know it says this, but what about this? Or I still want to do this, or that, you know what I mean? Like, you have that battle where it's like battle between the spirit versus the flesh, because they're contrary to each other. And it's like, okay, what's right? But eventually, if you're like Jacob, he's going to let you win that wrestling. He's going to help you overcome whatever stumbling, whatever issue it is you have. He's going to show you his truth, because his word is truth, and also because he reveals himself to those who love him, to those who want to know how to love him and want to know how to know him. He's not going to despise a heart like that, who's genuinely seeking, even if they might start seeking in not the best places. Like some people, when they wake up, right, they go to the churches, they start looking in the churches, they have that feeling, that urgency, like, okay, I want to follow God, I want to serve God, but I don't know how. And they'll hear things and it's like, okay, but that doesn't really seem like it goes with the Bible. And they might start wrestling. The whole point is, though, don't stop wrestling. You keep going. And eventually, if that person overcomes that, he'll take them out. He might bring them to the Torah movement. Or some people come directly out of the church and then they don't go to the Torah movement or sort of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but a lot of people, more times than not, like I can say for me, my brothers and sisters in Messiah, I went from basically being agnostic to them being like a believer. And so after coming out of the Catholic Church, then we went to the Messianic Church. And then after that, though, it was like that we were still wrestling. There's also like, there's things that can hinder you from seeing, like idols will hinder you from seeing. So that's like one of the first things he'll remove from you is the Christmas tree and all these other things, if you have that heart to know, okay, God, I want to follow you. And sometimes also the whole eating unclean, like, you know what I mean? Like, he'll reveal to you as long as you keep asking. Remember what Yeshua says, seek and you shall find, ask and the door will be open unto you. Or I don't even know exactly how it's worded, but if you look it up, I know you'll know it. I mean, most people actually do know what those scriptures are, but a lot of them don't know what they're saying. Like, they use it in a physical way instead of the spiritual way in regards to his truth, right? Like, if I think Yeshua also says, like, if somebody wants a loaf of bread, like, like a father's not going to give the child a snake or whatever it is. It's just like in today's time with his people, if they have that humble, contrite heart before him, he's not gonna be like, well, because you did all this, here you go, like cast you aside. No, because you genuinely want to know. And so he's gonna prune you and like remove the wickedness from you if you let him do that stuff. Because the more you obey, the more he prunes, the more he takes away, and the more he's going to give you his knowledge, his understanding of what the word says. Versus somebody who, like this, for example, if somebody keeps that attitude, like, well, just because the pagans like cut their toenails, so because they do it, so you know what I mean? Like, when they have that sort of attitude, he's not going to reveal to that person unless they let that go. That's the whole point. We may start off with pride. Yes, I had a lot of pride before being like a believer and stuff. Like, there was so much he had to get, like, there were certain things he had to have me go through to get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like, everybody goes through different things, but he'll take that from you if you let him. But if you keep defending these holidays that are not of him, or not even just this, but defending against like whatever lies you believe, whatever deceptions, whatever sins if you're defending those things, the opposite of having a humble, contrite heart that wants to be circumcised and wants to get to know him, it's not going to come near you. That's why the Psalms say, don't be stubborn like a horse or a mule, otherwise it won't come near you. His truth won't come near you if that's the way how you're going to be. If you're stuck in that strong delusion, if you're stuck on pride, no, he's not going to show you. But again, he'll show to those who, so that's the thing. The whole point of this, why I'm making this, is you need to check your heart and you need to see, okay, is my heart wanting to know his truth, even if maybe at first I might not like it or something, or it might be hard to swallow his truth, because again, the truth hurts. Like, is it going to be, like, God, give me that heart to like just want to know your truth, even if I might not like you don't literally want it, but again, like if it's something where it's like, oh, that's tough, I don't know if I can get rid of that sort of thing, because he'll show you if you have that heart where you just want it despite all that, like, okay, it's gonna be hard for me maybe to give it up, but help me to give it up anyways. For your verses, again, don't defend things when they're not of him. Just keep his truth, learn his truth, so that way you can actually walk in truth.